You missed some important news from the LGBTQ plus community this week. To ensure you are current, we are recapping that important news. Here's what you may have missed. A dire warning as LGBTQ plus supporting businesses may face insurance cancellation.
Julie Mabry always dreamed of running her own bar, and after working hard for so many years, in 2013, she made that dream come true when she opened Pearl Bar. Now, 10 years later, Mabry fears its future might be in jeopardy after an email she received from her new insurance agent.
So they outright denied us, the underwriters, because we host drag shows.
Drag shows was the first thing mentioned in that email, followed by the bar's daily drink specials, with the underwriters stating, "We won't write the risk."
This is the first time I've ever gotten an email like that. I cried about this for about a week.
Mabry says only people who are 21 and older can enter the bar, and they don't allow children inside to watch the drag shows. She believes the current political climate is what's fueling this.
The narrative that we aren't good people, that's what the insurance companies, I believe, are looking at us as a risk. And obviously, at some point, they've decided that we are too much of a risk.
What's more, insuring a bar isn't like insuring a car. A policy isn't automatically renewed. Mabry says bar owners have to reapply each year. She's already paying $60,000 a year for coverage. If the cost goes even higher, she fears the worst moving forward.
Well, the owner of Houston's only lesbian bar says her business is in jeopardy after it was denied insurance coverage, and she's putting the blame squarely on an anti-drag bill moving through the Texas Legislature. Mabry has insurance through December, but decided to switch agents a few months ago and shop around for the new policy. During that process, her agent received the denial email, which the agent then sent to Mabry. She added that the drag show issue was the first item mentioned in the email, which outlined the reasons why the underwriter did not feel comfortable insuring the bar. Mabry, who opened Pearl Bar in 2013, said the current political climate fueled her situation. She encouraged followers of the Pearl Bar Instagram account to contact their legislators about anti-LGBTQ bills in the state, including one that would restrict drag shows on public property on the premises of a commercial enterprise or in the presence of a child. Pearl Bar is one of about 24 lesbian bars left in the United States and one of only 2 in the state of Texas, the other being Sue Ellen's in Dallas. Mabry hopes Texas will not be left with just one lone lesbian bar. You know, we're focusing on the 10 pillars of the LGBTQ community at Happening Out Television Network, and one of our 10 pillars for this year is business. And the reason it is because we think it's important to highlight the stories of businesses that affirm the LGBTQ community and LGBTQ-owned businesses. This is a significant story. We're using Mabry and Pearl Bar in Houston as an illustration of the new challenge that much of our community is going to face, because there's going to be growing fear of retrenchment of commercial sponsorship of LGBT events, of less funds that are available to help seed and grant LGBT nonprofits and organizations and charities, and worst of all, a situation like this, which is, where does a pride get its insurance? If there's a risk that something is going to run afoul of a Governor DeSantis of Florida or a state legislature in Texas or Tennessee, businesses are going to be concerned in terms of their mere association to LGBT. And at the end of the day, that's exactly what they want. Of course. They are able to help gin up a rejection of community because of the separation between LGBT affirming and LGBT business and the events and organizations that are in our community.
And isn't that going to carry over into, say, city policy? Because a city that is okaying or giving, allowing pride events or businesses to be, simply to be, is going to maybe have more reluctance because of these issues.
Yeah.
So it is really such a ripple or a domino effect. It's really kind of terrifying.
And, and we've done so many stories about the lack of lesbian bars in the country. Like you said, there's less than 24, and Texas had 2. We have 1 in this state, okay? And Pearls has been around for 10 years. Like, it's not. We did a story on the bar here in Florida, right? But they had only been open a year. Like, Pearls has a history. They have, they have brought that whole community together, and now they can't be insured. I mean, if they don't get insurance, they have to close down. Basically, that's it.
Yeah.
Bye bye Pearls.
Yeah. And one thing that struck me in this copy, and I think it's even worse than what we're doing in Florida, is the phrase would restrict drag shows on public property on the premises of a commercial enterprise. So if Florida were to go then that route next year, that could affect inside our bars where we're already shutting out 21s. That could shut down pub or take out its program,
Or our house,
or our house or venue.
Anything. I mean,
Any of those could be up next in the next legislative session if this goes through, and that's something we should all be very concerned about. And also, to what your point was, they're basically writing these pseudo-vague laws, or vague pseudo-laws, perhaps, and then saying, okay, now we're going to leave it to the community. We're going to make insurance companies separate from the community. We're going to make our own community turn on each other, as we're seeing to a certain degree with prides in the state of Florida. It's bad, and the way they're doing it is evil genius.
It's an attack on space, an attack on spaces directly from us communing together, and also trying to generate any sort of fun, help, resources. Like, these are our resources. These spaces are our resources.
There are safe spaces.
There are safe spaces, our brave spaces for us to be loud. And so this is an ingenious attack on us to repress and shrink back from what we're already trying to do.
I make note of your observation, just as a slight correction. I bristle when you say ingenious, only because it still has the word genius.
Yeah.
It is an insidious attack, because it is an attack designed to hit on multiples of different levels, which is basically impossible to defeat. And really, at the end of the day, you were talking about the Save Gala. This is where we are in May of 2023. Stonewall is getting ready to happen next month. Faye and I will be broadcasting from the main stage of the parade. But at the end of the day, we are watching an attack that is getting more and more insidious. We must have an answer. Our advocacy organizations, our money to support advocacy in Florida, in Texas, in Tennessee, and other places must come up with a reply. ACLU must come to defense. We must get it into courts. We must get it into federal courts. And we must move faster than we're moving. We're not moving fast enough. Keep watching the only television news in the world from our LGBTQ plus community, and stay informed on everything that is important for and about our diverse LGBTQ plus community.